Welcome to Bear, brought to you by Giddy, the world's largest sexual health platform. If y'all want to share kind of how you got into this work and what your journeys have been as well.
So I got on birth control when I was 16, and so I had no symptoms surrounding my menstrual cycle until I was in my 30s and decided to get off birth control. And I got off any prescription that I'd ever been on because I started finally learning about all of the kind of adverse side effects that these prescriptions had, and wanted to really truly figure out if these were some things that I could manage myself. And everything else I got off of, I was pretty much fine. When I got off hormonal birth control, I experienced every symptom under the sun to a very severe degree. And so I had debilitating cramps, and I had adult hormonal acne and terrible mood swings, and went back to my healthcare provider and said, okay, what's going on? How do we fix it? And was kind of met with, you can get back on hormonal birth control, you can take Accutane, and never really got any kind of answer as why is this happening and how do we actually fix the problem versus putting a Band-Aid over the situation. And for me, it was a really frustrating, lonely time as a 30-something-year-old woman going, I have absolutely no idea what's going on inside my body. I have no idea how to fix it. And it doesn't seem like the person that I've trusted most knows how to fix it either. And so finally, I was like very embarrassed by this, which is, now that I think about it, I'm like, I don't know, why was I embarrassed? It's not my fault that I wasn't given the tools or the knowledge, but you do feel embarrassed. And so I didn't tell people for a while, and then I finally confided in Olivia because she and my husband grew up in a very different household than I did, and they grew up with a more functional medicine background. And so I said, these are the things that are happening. I know that you've been kind of finding ways to heal yourself over the past, your entire life, I guess. What do you think? And so that's kind of how we started working together, that I was like, Olivia, please help me with this.
Yeah, can you tell us a little bit more about how you grew up, Olivia, like to hear about that sort of conversation, even just around health and your health?
4 years ago, I was diagnosed with premenstrual dysphoric disorder, also known as PMDD, which essentially 2 weeks before every period, which is your luteal phase, I have extreme depression, anxiety, irritability. It's essentially PMS, but on steroids, and it gets in the way of your daily life. You don't feel like the person you were in the phase before. And so I was on my own journey. I knew that I didn't want to go on birth control because birth control wasn't going to balance my hormones. It actually shuts them off completely. And for me, coming from that functional medicine household, I didn't want to take SSRIs or mood stabilizers just yet, which I haven't done that yet. Who knows? So it was up to me to kind of be the hero of my own story. And I started, researching what actually happens through the menstrual cycle, because the menstrual cycle is not just your period. We actually go through multiple different phases. And Ashley and I started researching together, and we realized that you can actually map your diet and your sex life and your exercise to the phase of where you're at in your cycle to ultimately rebalance your body. And once we learned that, we were like, wow, how do we not know this? And how come so many of our friends don't know this? And it's definitely becoming more common now, but we started researching and talking to our community, and everyone was suffering from something like endometriosis or PCOS. And so we decided to do something about it, and we created Hummingway, which is a product-based company, but also an educational platform.